Back to another video. Today we are solving question 20, valid parentheses within LeetCode. Essentially, in this problem, we are given a string named s containing opening and closing brackets of parentheses, squiggly, and square type, and we need to determine if the input is valid. We can determine if it's valid if the opening brackets are closed by the same type of bracket, if an opening bracket is closed in the correct order, and every closing bracket has a corresponding opening bracket of the same type. So we can see S is true because it has an opening parentheses and a closing parentheses right after it. Same thing for example 2, except we have a few corresponding closing and opening square and squiggly brackets, and then S is false because we have a opening parentheses and a closing square. So essentially, the solution to this problem, at least the route that I'm going to take, is creating a stack, and I'm going to go until I get a closing bracket. Once I get a closing bracket, I'm going to go ahead and check the last character of my stack, which I've been appending to, and see if that is a corresponding value. If not, I'm going to return false. If yes, I'm going to keep going until we reach the end. So first, we'll initialize our stack, which equals empty right, and then we will map all of our parentheses. So we'll say opening or open close equals, and then we'll do parentheses first. So here, oops. Close, and then here we'll do square brackets, and then open, and then lastly, then lastly squiggly brackets. All right, there we go. And then we'll start our actual solution. So for I in S, if I in opening or open and close. So essentially we're seeing, we're checking to see if any closing brackets are found. If it is, we're going to go ahead and say if stack, so if stack is not empty, and stack minus one, so the last element that we've appended to it is equal to open close I. So the corresponding value of this this closing bracket. So then we'll say if it is stack dot pop. So we'll go ahead, if this is true, we'll go ahead and just pop off the last element of the stack. And the reason that we're doing that is because we're done with those parentheses, or square brackets, squiggly brackets, whatever it is, and we can move on to the next set and not have to worry about those. And then else, we return false. And then so if I is not in open and close, that means it's an opening bracket. So we can just go ahead and say stack append I. And then lastly, we need to check to make sure that once we get through all of S, that we're left with an empty stack. So we'll say if stack we'll say return true if not stack. So if stack is empty, and then say else return or else false. So return true if the stack is not empty, else return false. So let's go ahead and run this. Perfect. I'll go ahead and comment this out. So we'll say if closing bracket found, see if stack is not empty, and closing bracket has corresponding opening bracket. I'm going to back out so you guys can see everything I'm typing. Oops. And then if true, pop or take, just say pop off last element of stack. If false, return. And then if opening bracket append to stack. Lastly, if stack is empty, return true, else return false. Okay, so let's go ahead and submit this. Make sure it runs for all of them. It should. Perfect. All right, guys. With that, thank you for tuning in. That's kind of all I have for today. So if you liked my solution, if you learned anything from it, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all the support you guys give me. So with that, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.